Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. On today's show, Kyle Bauer is joined by Chelsea Good with Livestock Marketing Association. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. Next, Duane Toews meets Randy and Nicole Small, recent winners of the Good Steward Award from the National Corn Growers Association. Then it's this week's Angus Report, and we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first, Kyle Bauer gets an update from Chelsea Good from Livestock Marketing Group.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with Chelsea Good with LMA, Livestock Marketing Association. Chelsea, your members represent most of the auction barns around the nation. What's the current initiatives you're working on?
Well, our biggest initiative right now in terms of Livestock Marketing Association is trying to make sure that livestock auction markets and producers get paid when they sell livestock. Unfortunately, we've seen a trend in the United States of livestock dealer defaults where either a producer selling livestock in the country is paid with either no check or an insufficient funds check, or if that producer sells at an auction market, they're guaranteed good funds through their custodial account, but then that auction market stands in that place of being defaulted upon. So we are excited that there is some legislation that's been introduced that we think would help fix this issue.
Well, truly, over time, markets change and how business is done changes, and so it takes changes like this to keep up with the speed of commerce, so to speak.
That's absolutely correct. That when livestock are sold in an auction environment, they're moving quickly and the funds move a little slower. And so that's why we see some of these default issues. And we need to make sure that it is the auction markets or the producers that raise those cattle that have that first priority, either in the livestock or if they've been resold, because that happens quickly, the proceeds are receivables from those livestock.
Currently, the legislation that was introduced by Congressman Marshall, what would it change?
So the SALE Act, which Congressman Marshall introduced, would create what's called a dealer statutory trust. It's not a separate bank account or anything like that. It doesn't really change the day-to-day dealings of business, but what it does do, which is really important, is it changes who has priority in the event of the default. And it makes it so that unpaid seller of livestock, either the rancher that sold livestock in the country or the auction market that sold on their behalf, stands first in line as it relates to the livestock, or if they've been resold, the proceeds are receivables from those livestock.
And currently that's a big deal because otherwise when there's a shortage of funds, probably the mortgage holders might be the first, and yet those are actually the funds of the producers that they're holding.
You totally understand it's not fair, but under current law, a dealer's lender will have just a blanket security interest in all after acquired livestock. So a rancher could sell to a dealer, the dealer doesn't pay, they still have the livestock, and that rancher has no ability to go get those livestock because that dealer's lender has a priority, even though the dealer didn't pay. I think that's the problem in the current law, and that's the problem that Congressman Marshall's SALE Act would fix.
Visiting with Chelsea Good, she's with the Livestock Marketing Association. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean update.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways, of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Hi, I'm Randy.
And I'm Paul from PFI.
We would like to personally invite you to stop by PFI, home of Boot Daddies.
PFI is America's Western store, covering over 50,000 square feet.
Over 25,000 boots.
Visit Saddle City with the largest selection of saddles and tack anywhere.
A huge selection of hats at Big Spur Hat Company in PFI Town.
And choose from the best brands of clothing and accessories for the entire family.
PFI, located on Highway 65 at the Battlefield exit in Springfield. And I'm not kidding.
As fourth-generation farmers themselves, Heinen Brothers Ag Service understands the risk and rewards of farming. So when it comes to quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia, call Heinen Brothers Ag today, 800-760-4964.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Carrie Weefald, Marketing Director with the Kansas Department of Agriculture, joins us. And Carrie, the month of March is here, and as traditionally done, we celebrate it as Kansas Agriculture Month.
March is such an exciting time for our agriculture community across the state. And our ag organizations from region to region, whether north, south, east, west, come together to really recognize and celebrate the abundance that is provided in our communities by the sector of agriculture. This month, we celebrate with a variety of activities, and then we will also take time on Ag Day, which is actually March 20th, to celebrate agriculture food for life, which is this year's theme.
And you had mentioned activities throughout the month. That included earlier in the month a ceremony with Governor Collier.
We met with Governor Collier, and he represented and kicked off Ag Month with us at the Harvesters Food Bank in Topeka. Harvesters partners with Dillon's food stores across the state to provide our neighbor-to-neighbor food drive, and that's in partnership with the three major food banks that service the entire state. And the Second Harvest, and then Kansas Food Bank out of Wichita, and then Harvesters, the Community Food Network. As we know, about 45% of our state's economy comes from agriculture. We export about $3.5 billion worth of commodities, but we also know that we have hunger in our community, and what better way to support and promote agriculture and food than to host our neighbor-to-neighbor food drive that runs through Dillon stores across the state through the entire month of March.
And there are also things throughout the state that you'll be doing as well.
On March 20th, which is, again, Ag Day, we will celebrate and take the Agriculture Food for Life theme in partnership with our ag organizations across the state to the Capitol in Topeka and work with legislators and better educate about the agriculture industry, also about the economic impact for 105 counties in terms of how agriculture plays such a vital part in communities across the state. We also have resources available online. We'll have 4-H clubs and FFA chapters out advocating in their communities. If anyone is interested, we certainly encourage them to visit the Department of Agriculture website because we have a wealth of resources and other organizations that support and promote and prepare resources for members across our state and maybe some of our neighboring states around as well to advocate for the positives of agriculture in our communities.
Carrie, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you all for taking a moment to celebrate agriculture and to just be proud of the industry that we get to work in and promote on a daily basis.
That's Carrie Weefald, Marketing Director with the Kansas Department of Agriculture, who joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more with Duane Toews, reporting from Commodity Classic in Anaheim, California.
What if U.S. soybean oil were an industry sensation? If end users started asking for it by name? That future is here. The time is now. To meet customer demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in varieties that produce oil with increased functionality. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now let's talk good stewardship with Randy and Nicole Small from Neota Shea.
Duane Toews joining you once again for Ag AM in Kansas. And while at Commodity Classic, we did have a chance to catch up with a family award winner from the National Corn Growers Association, the Good Steward Award for Randy and Nicole Small, Neota Shea, Kansas. Randy, talk a little bit about the award and that opportunity to really spin a good light on environmental stewardship here at NCGA.
You know, the award is based on everything we do environmentally, and probably one of the things that farmers do not portray to their customers as much as we probably should. You know, there's a lot of things we do that we take for granted that really do help the environment and the world that everyone else lives in.
A lot of times folks just don't realize that what are good production practices that make sense economically for you are environmentally responsible as well.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, a lot of the stuff we do with fertilizer placement, the right rate, right time, it's all something that helps us out, you know, in the bottom line. And right now that's really critical.
So, Nicole, an active part of the operation as well. From your perspective, how have you seen things change on the operation through the years?
Well, when we married in 1999, we were just starting to no-till, and we laughed with Gary Kilgore, the former area extension agronomist, that Randy married no-till because I didn't like to work ground, and he was either going to have to hire somebody else or go completely no-till. So we have been 100% no-till ever since then, and just the amount of precision we do to apply the nutrients and the amount of time we spend placing them at different times, not putting all the fertilizer down at once, and really working to get the plants what they need when they need it.
And Randy, thinking about opportunities to obviously when you win an award like this, they put you out there to talk to other growers. From your perspective, what are some of the simple things that guys can do to make a difference the quickest?
You know, when we started no-tilling, we were looking at maybe some moisture conservation or reduce some labor, but we look at our organic matter right now and how much that has increased and what that has done for our high clay content soils. It's tremendous. You know, we had some organic matter below 1%, and now we're looking at 4s and 5s. And that's something that I did not anticipate doing. I thought we might gain 1%, you know, and it might take 10 years to do it. But some of the last tests we got back this last year were pretty impressive. And everyone says, well, you know, you've got your clay soils that are hard to do that. And, you know, in our clay soils, sometimes that moisture retention is more important than trying to pull it from down deep because we just can't get it fast enough in the summertime. So it's one of the simplest things I can think of that, you know, just retaining some moisture and helping that organic matter out is the bonus.
Have you noticed, because of that increase in organic matter, that your fertilization program works better as well?
I would say that it does. You know, there's kind of a long drag trying to build that carbon up in the soil, and you know, we've really increased the wheat on a rotation. We've increased the corn, trying to get those high carbon crops back out there more frequently, and I think that makes the whole system work better. our biggest struggle is trying to get that corn going in the springtime when all your neighbors are planting there at the end of March. We've kind of got to pull back the reins and say, well, let's wait a week.
Well, our thanks to Randy and Nicole Small, National Corn Growers Association Good Steward Award winners at Commodity Classic. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Come back after this break for this week's Angus Report.
Welcome to Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in Oakley, Kansas on I-70 at exit 76. I-70, after all, is America's Main Street, and we're right here on Main Street for you. Now that I'm an Oakley resident, I still come in almost every day, and I sit and listen to the conversations of the people around me. You know, the guys who are talking about the big elk they just bagged, or the folks who are taking their kid to college for the first time. People just traveling up and down the highway. Real people, just like you and me. And they find just what I find here, real people to serve them. There's history, there's scenery. We hope you'll stop and see us soon. Welcome to Oakley.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Daryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I want to do it. So we did it, and it worked. I'm not going to go out and take trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities, and it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Angus Report.
Start with the best, end with the best. That's Joe Risky's easy answer.
Everybody asks, how'd you make that brisket so good? I say I started with the best cut of meat. So that's how it goes. Start with the best, end with the best.
The fourth-generation pitmaster knows a thing or two about creating customer satisfaction. Like cattlemen and women who raise beef, it takes an investment of emotion and time.
To cook meat tomorrow, we got a plan for it today. So we're constantly trying to stay ahead of it and be prepared for it. And like I said, I don't feed on Christmas. That's about the only difference, and I'm glad of that. But I cook on Christmas, so there you go. It's back to working.
That's what's required to meet the need of what Risky calls an off-the-charts barbecue trend he never saw coming.
I don't know much about the cattle industry, but I do know that the steps that they've taken to make a better genetic animal and the better marbling, which gets into the CAB, the upper two-thirds of it, is just what's taken the barbecue to the next level, is just the time and effort and knowledge that they've put into the cattle breed has come down to the barbecue guy making it. It's made a better product.
Joe's brother, Jay, says demand for superior product is here to stay.
Growing up in the restaurant business was a big help to me coming into the food service processing meat business. It helped me realize the value of quality, and I think we're seeing that trend across restaurants in general. They're instead of taking less quality product and trying to make a quality product out of it, they're starting with higher quality and finishing with higher quality.
In the last year, his company has purchased more than 1 million pounds of certified Angus beef brand brisket.
CAB has been a cornerstone in our quality movement, and it's grown year after year. The education they put into it makes it easy for the salespeople to sell it, and once the customers get it in their mouth, there's no going back.
I'm Bob Cervera.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Welcome to our Bar B, 8,000 plus square feet Western store with something for everyone in the family. We have boots, belts, hats, jeans, anything you could want to outfit you and your horse. Come visit our line of saddles. We have 400 plus new and used saddles in stock. We offer tack, grooming supplies, headstalls, breast collars, you name it, we've got it for you and your horse. That's our Bar B, 1 mile east of Highway 4 on Northeast 39th. Our Bar B, where Western is a way of life.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with the very serious Duane Toews.
Kyle Bauer, it's a problem that we need to discuss on our fact or fiction question.
Okay.
Today. Each and every fig has a dead wasp in it. Fact or fiction?
I think that would be the silliest thing I've ever heard of in my life. That's got to be fiction.
It's true.
Oh, come on.
And you want to know why?
Yeah.
The wasp crawls inside, lays its egg, and dies. In doing so, it helps pollinate and eventually pollinate it, and they are eventually digested by the fig's enzymes.
Oh, so there really isn't a dead one in there anymore. No, there's not.
It's been digested. He's still there.
No, he's not.
Is he there? He's just not on the same little waspy package with his
Let's
little
go
wings.
out and bury you. Let's
Am
bury
I still
someone
there?
else. And
I'll still be there.
And when we come back 100 years later, would you still be
There's
there?
Duane.
I'm calling foul.
That's
foul.
a dead wasp inside.
Dead wasp. He climbs in there to pollinate.
The process of crawling in to lay its eggs is what pollinates the fig.
But then the eggs obviously come out.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, they hatch. They obviously hatch, and they come back
That's
out.
kind of creepy.
And then the thing...
What if they haven't hatched yet? You're eating wasp eggs in your Fig Newton.
I tell you, of all the things I've eaten, that's probably the least of the things I have to worry about.
Let's be honest here, folks. If you're disgusted by eating bug parts...
Uh-oh, I know where you're going. Here we go, right here.
You're pretty well limited to a diet of water.
Yeah.
Because there are bug pieces and parts in virtually everything you eat.
And we're talking about if you are a vegetarian. I mean, because there's bug parts in green leafies.
Sure.
There's bug parts in grains. There's bug parts in...
What was it? I saw a picture of somebody had a bag of salad mix, I think, or something. I saw one recently, and there was a lizard inside the bag.
Dead one?
No,
live one.
He was live.
Oh, mixed greens.
Yeah,
mixed greens, and he got in there,
and he got bagged up and sent to the store.
I can see that.
And here's the deal: somebody probably went off the wall ballistic over it, and it's like, really. Just open the bag and let him go.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Even me, I'd probably just take the whole bag outside and let him live a life of his own.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.